Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Gympie residents prepared to evacuate for second inundation in months. Amid Queensland's evolving severe weather event, parts of Queensland's Gympie region are facing inundation for the second time in recent months, with the Bremer River expected to reach its peak on Saturday amid the state's evolving weather event. Authorities are warning Queenslanders the current weather event is not expected to be as severe as the flood event that swept the state earlier this year. However, Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk told residents whose properties were flooded in February that they should be prepared and alert. Gympie Mayor Glen Hartwig had previously said the peak would likely be close to 13 metres, but new forecasts place the peak at 16 m. Mr Hartwig said lower-lying businesses, including those in Mary Street, needed to prepare to evacuate for a second time. The scale of this flood event is far below the one that devastated the town in February, when the river reached 23 m and inundated 800 properties. In the southern Downs, up to 30 homes at Warwick were expected to be impacted by flooding when the Condamine River was expected to peak at 7.5 m on Friday night. Southern Downs Mayor Vic Pennisi said that while water was receding in some parts of the region, Warwick remained cut off by floodwaters. "It's a moderate to major flood, but we've had worse," Mr Pennisi said. More than a dozen emergency alerts have been issued across Queensland, from the North Burnett south to the border. Emergency alerts for Gympie and Scenic Rim. Emergency alerts were issued by the Gympie Regional Council and Scenic Rim Regional Council on Friday amid warnings of dangerous flash flooding and road closures. Ms Palaszczuk said the Ipswich Mayor had advised there was flooding in Rosewood, Grandchester and Mount Walker. The Bureau of Meterology, BOM, said the Bremer River at Rosewood might peak near 6.4 metres on Friday afternoon. BOM senior forecaster Laura Boekel said the situation was evolving. Initially the predictions were that today we would start to see that easing trend, but that rainfall is likely to stay around today and into tomorrow, she said on Friday. The Premier said, based on current forecasts, the rain event should not be as severe as last time. "This rainfall is actually more sporadic, and not as heavy," Ms Palaszczuk said. "But we are still seeing some cases of flooding, and the river rising in particular areas. We are not expecting to see the extent of damage that we saw last time. But as it is an evolving situation, we are asking people to be prepared and to be alert." Ms Palaszczuk said about 300 households in Laidley have had water on their properties and 8 evacuation centres were opening. The Lockyer Valley got 170 millimetres of rain in the 24 hours to 9 am on Friday. Major flood warnings issued for several rivers. Major flood warnings still remain in place for the Condamine River, Laidley and Lockyer Creeks and the Logan River. The Lockyer Creek was expected to remain above the moderate flood level of 10 metres on Friday afternoon. Several bridges, roads and more than 20 businesses have been inundated by water in the Lockyer Valley region. At least 6 water rescue crews had already been deployed to rescue residents from floodwaters in the region. Ms Palaszczuk said the Brisbane River was not expected to reach beyond minor flood level. She said dam levels across the southeast Queensland grid have gone from 89% to 95% in recent days. The Wivenhoe Dam had hit 110%, in February it was at 185%. "There is still plenty of flood storage available," Ms Palaszczuk said. Ms Palaszczuk said there were controlled releases underway, but they would stop once rivers rise too high. Hundreds of properties at risk. Lockyer Valley Mayor Tanya Milligan said modelling based on current predicted rainfall suggested up to 260 homes could be impacted or inundated in areas including Laidley and Grantham. She said there was a minimum of 100 millimetres of rain forecast for Friday and there was also the chance of storm cells. "The modelling is even telling us, this is the really horrible stuff. There is an expectation we will probably have about 260 homes that will have inundation," Ms Milligan said. "The event that we had in February and March we had about 68 homes inundated. It is soul destroying. It is absolutely crushing. The Queensland Fire and Emergency Service issued more than a dozen emergency alerts overnight and this morning. Warnings are also in place for Stanthorpe, Warwick, Scenic Rim, the Sunshine Coast, Gympie and North Burnett regions. Floodwaters from the Condamine River have cut Warwick in half, with the bridge on the New England Highway closed. The BOM predicted flood levels were likely to exceed the January 2013 flood level of 7.21 metres. It predicted the Condamine River level might reach 8 m by Friday evening. More than 110 roads in the region have been impacted and 10 bridges are